Hi, I'm Professor Beck Strah.
And I'm producer Brit, and you're listening to the news.
It's the news, put on your new shoes, 'cause it's time to get up off your chair and hear the news without a care. Said it's the news, wash away your blues, 'cause it's the prison news.
Ahoy, dudes! Welcome back.
This is a prison breakdown. How you doing?
You're listening to the Prison Breakdown. This is the pirate ship. We're back on dry land. We're docked to give you the news.
Mm-hmm. We certainly are. What's going on in the news today?
Let me tell you. You know about this guy, Sam Bankman-Fried? They call him SBF, like the sunscreen. They should call him sunscreen. I think that would be a cool nickname too.
Also well known as Sam Bankman-Fried.
Oh, I like that. That's clever.
Yeah, because he defrauded a bunch of people and basically ran a big crypto Ponzi scheme.
Yeah, exactly. People went on a run on the bank when crypto was taking a dive, and guess what? The bank can't pay.
Mm-hmm.
So our boy Sam Bankman-Fried, he is so the man's pathetic. He's groveling right now, trying to get a pardon from Trump. Mm-hmm. He sees Trump giving pardons to these other fat cats, these other white collar criminals like himself, and he goes, "Oh, please more for me. Why not me?" And he's a guy who had actually talked about, well, what if I paid Donald Trump to stay out of the 2024 race? He had made all these contributions to Biden's campaign, and now he's groveling. And
at the same time, it should be noted that he gave a lot of money to Democratic resources and campaigns, but he also gave a ton of money to Republicans too. He hedged his bets.
Oh yeah. Which nothing says I have a strong ideology like giving to people on both sides of the aisle.
Yes.
So anyway, Sam Bankman-Fried, he got back his X account somehow. I'm not at all clear on how he is doing this from prison. Maybe he's relating his tweets to someone else, and
he has a squire, like he has a scribe. Like,
that would be amazing.
Yes, Lord Bankman-Fried. Let me take your tweet.
Let me call my friends while I'm in prison, and they can tweet out stuff I say. That's so lame. Like wanting to participate in social media that badly when you're inside. Hey, can you read me all the tweets from people who added me?
Hey, could you get on the two-sided glass wall and you pick up the prison phone. And he's like, hey, could you describe some TikToks to me, please?
Yeah, I would love that. Honestly, nothing would make me happier than listening to. You want to just call me sometime and just tell me about the TikToks you're watching? That would be great.
Sure.
It's such low energy friendships that people can maintain that way.
Yeah.
So Sam Bankman-Fried, he ran FTX. It was a crypto exchange. It was like an $8 billion collapse, right? And he was sentenced to, I believe, 25 years in prison, federal prison. And SBF, while he's been in prison, he has gotten to know a few notable names. One of these notable names being Juan Orlando Hernandez.
Who's that?
What can you tell me about him?
I can't tell you anything about that, I don't think. No. Who's that?
Oh, he's the former Honduran president.
Oh, that guy. Okay, yeah, okay.
So he was recently pardoned by Trump. And I believe he had been convicted on drug trafficking charges, something like that, right? So SBF on his Twitter said, President Trump just pardoned Juan Orlando Hernandez, the former president of Honduras. I spent a year and a half living in the same unit as at Juan Orlando H. I got to know him fairly well. I'd like to think we became friends. Juan Orlando is the most innocent prisoner I've met. So, and then he gave a long tweet about how he thinks that Juan Orlando was framed and how much this guy hates drugs. And he's like echoing Trump's take on the pardon, saying how he's set up by the Biden administration, stuff like this, treated very harshly and unfairly. And so he's just aligning himself with Trump is essentially what we're seeing here. But there's that. But he's also been serving as a jailhouse lawyer in prison, providing legal advice to inmates. One of those inmates being Juan Orlando Hernandez, and another one of those inmates being Sean Diddy Combs.
Oh, we got P. Diddy back in the mix. Gosh, he's in like every news article we've been going to these days. He's everywhere.
We can't do without him. He is. I think his show on Netflix, the show put together by 50 Cent,
right?
just like destroying Diddy is like one of the top shows, and it has been for like a month. Mm-hmm. Have you watched it? I have not bothered.
No, it's up on my server, but I have not watched it yet. I mean, it looks entertaining. I've already watched all the YouTube videos to know exactly what went down. I feel like this is probably just a slightly better produced version of those things, and so I'm like, I know of his crimes, his many various wild, ridiculous crimes.
It strikes me as it so borders on celebrity gossip as a documentary that I care just enough to consider it. Right. I don't think I'll ever get around to watching it.
Especially when it's produced by someone who has like a business vendetta against him. Like it's obvious like why this was made. Whereas like, watching like YouTube documentaries on these things, like these people got no beef with P. Diddy. They just recognize that he's a bad person and want to report it. Whereas 50 Cent like wants to bury him in his legacy for his own personal gain, which is definitely maybe a conflict of interest, but it's I guess the more exposure it gets, maybe the better. I don't know. It's like we need to out cultural monsters, I think, especially like people with power who like abuse it. At the same time, like doing so as like a petty vendetta against someone is like pretty shallow.
Especially when there's like money involved.
Right.
It does seem shallow. It does seem I at least like a veneer of objectivity in a documentary.
Yeah, same.
And this has none of that.
No.
And so what's the difference between this and like, I don't know, like TMZ type shit?
Nothing really. Nothing.
This is I don't know. Probably not for us, but who knows? If we really run out of content, I'm not against just leaning into it and devouring it.
Fair.
I respect my time only so much. So that's the news on Sam Bankman-Fried. I want to learn more about him being a jailhouse lawyer. SBF has stated that the standard of federal defense is shockingly low, and he says, "Oh, I'm not here to replace lawyers, but these lawyers aren't doing much to begin with," and he doesn't think that lawyers are able to give their clients enough attention due to their caseloads. But I don't think that is actually true for like himself and these people he's consorting with, because they are also paying some primetime lawyers.
Yeah, they're very wealthy people.
Cases.
Right.
Yeah, these could not be more high-profile cases than they are. So that's the news on Sam Bankman-Fried. Hit me with what you got for news.
Yeah, before we do that, I think we should give a little shout-out to our lovely sponsor.
Who's that sponsor?
That would be the... why don't you tell them?
That's the Roger Williams University School of Justice Studies. I work there.
Yes, you do.
I'm very familiar with them.
I just blanked. I'm like, who signs those checks? Shoot. shoot.
Roger Williams University School of Justice Studies. And this is a school. We have here in beautiful Rhode Island, we have majors in criminal justice.
Mm-hmm.
We have legal studies. We have
anthropology and sociology. You got a minor in cloud computing. Did you know that? How about a minor in digital forensics?
Hell yeah.
How about forensic science? We got a bachelor's, Juris Doctor, and a major in that. You got your international relations, political science, public administration, public management, and my personal favorite, leadership.
Yeah. Oh, that I expected a little echo on that.
No. I wanted to make it intimate. I want to, like, I'm whispering in your ear, like you're just going to bed at night, and I kiss you on the forehead, and I come to your ear and I go, leadership.
Thanks, Daddy. I'm going to start doing that for my newborn son.
Yeah, you should make a natural born leader right there. That'll every just like good night, little one. Grind set culture.
Yeah, I want him to grow up to be an asshole. So I think this is perfect.
Yeah. So thank you very much, Roger Williams University School of Justice Studies. So with that, let's take a little trip over the pond, over to the UK. This one's an article from the BBC titled Foreign Prison Officers Exempted from Stricter Visa Rules. So, foreign nationals working as prison officers and corrections officers in the UK have been given a temporary exemption from new visa rules following warnings from some jails that were facing a staffing crisis. Prisons have increasingly been relying on overseas recruits, particularly from Nigeria and Ghana.
That's weird. There were a surprising amount of Ghanaian and I believe a couple Nigerian guys I worked with at the jail. And I don't think to that point in my life I had met people from Ghana or Nigeria. And
yeah, I've met several people from Nigeria, working in kitchens, but never from Ghana, I don't think. A lot of Ethiopian folk too. That is kind of surprising. I wonder what, if they actually advertise over there, get a work visa, come be a corrections officer, or
a job fair.
Yeah, or it's a family thing, maybe, a bunch of, Nigerian and Ghanaian families, get one person in and they'll, contact their nephew or whatever, hey, come to America, get a visa to come live with me, and then you can become a corrections officer. It's, I do wonder how exactly that's set up. But that's cool.
I remember talking to one of them, this guy Achimpong, and
that's a great name.
Call him Pong.
Great name,
right? Great name. And Achimpong, he I think he was one of the highest paid employees in the county. He would work so much overtime, and he would take that money and send it home. And when you do that, your dollar stretches a lot further in countries that are not here, and his family does a lot better for it. A lot of guys from the Philippines as well for that same reason.
Interesting.
Yeah, but being a corrections officer pays the bills.
Yeah. There's I work with a few Filipino guys. There's quite a bit of East Asians in the postal service for sure. It's pretty cool. There's a lot of funny guys there. A lot of guys with jokes. Very little understanding of English, but they can still make jokes, and I love that.
Yes, that's my favorite.
Yeah, same. So continuing on this article, the organizations representing officers had warned jails faced losing thousands of staff after the government increased the minimum salary requirement for a skilled worker visa. The Ministry of Justice said the move would, quote, ensure jails can continue to run safely with the right level of experienced staff. Under changes introduced in July as part of efforts to reduce migration in the UK, individuals must earn at least £41,700 to obtain a skilled worker visa, up from £38,700. The starting salary for a prison officer is generally below this amount, particularly outside of London.
Wow.
Yeah, which is kind of surprising and seems low, but, they've got a lot of their stuff taken care of and have social safety nets and things there.
That's true.
The Prison Officers Association, also known as the POA, said the salary threshold changes meant jails stood to lose more than 2,500 overseas recruits, which it said would have a, quote, catastrophic effect on prison stability. I don't know what a percentage that is of their entire recruits, but that seems like a lot of people regardless.
It really does. And it honestly seems like it might be a better thing for the country if they were to have, so say they have fewer prison employees, that means that they have to have fewer prisons.
True.
Like, wait, when we have a prison, there's this organizational theory says that we're going to use public utilities to the highest capacity, right? So it's going to be like a prison or a hospital. We're going to fill it up. So with that in mind, like if we have fewer prisons, yeah, they're going to be full, but it would force them to decarcerate and focus more on like this idea of selective incapacitation, locking up only the people who are most dangerous to society. Because no matter where you are, I'm sure there are many people locked up who don't need to be locked up.
Oh, 100%. At the same time, this is a precarious situation for everyone involved, I feel, because yes, that would probably be better for society as a whole, but also taking 2,500 migrant workers that are at like middle-class jobs and, disenfranchising them and, putting them out of work, I don't think is a great idea.
Okay. Yeah. I'm looking at the ramifications there and
like it's no matter what happens, I don't think it's good for anybody. Like you keep a solid prison industrial complex and employ a lot of foreign workers, or you don't, and that also has a lot of knockaround effects,
Yeah, we've dug ourselves a hole is essentially the problem. Like, or the UK has dug themselves a hole. We don't have to even be part of this, but they've dug themselves a hole, and it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't type situation.
Right. Speaking of which, continuing on the article, Chief Inspector of Prisons in the UK, Charlie Taylor, warned earlier this year that many jails were heavily dependent on prison officers recruited from West Africa. He said many were in danger of not having their visas renewed, which would have a, quote, devastating effect on prisons. The exemption only applies to applicants already in the country and lasts until the end of 2026, with a lower salary threshold of £33,400 in place until the 31st of December 2027. So they got like 2 years. The POA welcomed the new exemption, calling it a victory for common sense. The trade union secretary, Steve Gilligan, said, quote, "It might not be perfect, but it will mean the prison service hopefully remains stable." The association national chairman, Mark Fairhurst, added, quote, "Our members can now go about their daily lives without the threat of removal from the country." So, a win for organized labor, which we definitely love. Whether we're immigrants or not, we are all labor. Not all of us, but anyone listening to this podcast, I'm sure.
Hey, managers, get your own podcast.
Yeah, right? Get out of here.
This ain't for you.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what's happening over in the UK. I think it's yeah.
Let me give you another international update, producer bro.
Yeah, what do we got?
So, more than 240 members of MS-13 have been sentenced to hundreds of years in prison in El Salvador.
Okay.
And we've talked about CECOT in the past, the notorious large prison spearheaded by El Salvadorian President Bukele, and him putting the country in a state of emergency, cracking down on gangs. And so one individual, Marvin Abel Hernandez, Palacios, he was sentenced to 1,335 years in prison, while 10 others received prison terms that ranged from 463 years to 958 years for crimes that were committed between 2014 and 2022. And to date in El Salvador, they've detained over 90,000 people, and 8,000 of those people have been released after being found not guilty. And so his campaign, as we know, as we talked about in our episode, it has reduced homicides in El Salvador to like these historically low levels.
Sure.
But the problem is you're stepping all over human rights. Like there's been so many human rights abuses in the process.
Right.
And according to the Salvadorian government, which I don't like, after everything that they have put out there, I don't know how much they can be trusted in terms of information, but they've said that MS-13 and another gang out there, Barrio 18, they're saying that those two gangs are responsible for the deaths of like 200,000 people over 30 years.
Okay.
And the two gangs used to control like 80% of the country. But so they've been bragging. They're essentially bragging about, hey, you guys, we sentenced few inmates to several hundred years in prison, one guy to more than 1,000 years. When it comes to sentences like that, it's pointless because no one's ever going to live. No one in our lifetime is going to live more than like 150 years. It's not going to happen, but it is purely symbolic. And
no one in prison is going to live over like 105 years ever.
Oh, that would be insane. It would be insane for somebody to live like over. If you heard of somebody in prison living like over 90 years, that would be a huge accomplishment.
Yeah, that would probably be in the news. Yeah.
The nutrition, the healthcare, it's not primo. It's not meant to be good. So it is. It's sad, and while they're being convicted of some horrible things, it's the government posturing.
Yeah,
that is all it is. They are trying to say, "Look at us, we're being tough on crime."
It's crime and punishment politics, which ultimately we've seen, at least in America, is a societal negative. You know, it creates different underclasses. It stratifies us in different, worse ways. It creates a labor workforce that is both subjugated to slavery and also is unable to use most of those skills when they are finally released from prison.
Oh yeah, they end up being what I've read in like sociology journals called surplus labor, where it's unskilled labor, and hey, society can't figure out what to do with this person who didn't finish school. They don't have skills training.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. We're going to net widen even more, and whoosh, that person gets scooped in.
And you know, you got to like wonder about these people and like, I don't know, have like a certain amount of empathy for them, because a lot of these people are like super underskilled. You know, at best, a lot of times they have like a GED or, you know, they got their high school diploma, and they've been told, that's going to ready you for the workforce, but they're still like getting rejected from maybe the only McDonald's in their town for a job. And so what are they supposed to do? Like travel for work for minimum wage work, or like keep trying, or move to maybe a shadier business that can make them money that they can maybe even thrive in. I don't know. We're not giving people a lot of opportunities. There's no jobs programs in America, really, so to speak. You know, apprenticeship programs have dried up. The wait lists have gotten too long. Like we're not doing any favors for ourselves or the people we release from prison by not training them to do anything when they get out of prison.
Oh, and we also condemn them so much through rhetoric that people don't want to hire felons.
Yeah.
And so just by having the mark of a felony on your record, you are already incredibly less likely to get that call back for a job.
Right.
More so if you're a person of color. And so it's just constantly screwing people. Like the label of felon is, we look at it as so homogenous when it's like felonies aren't even the same. It's like the label of sex offender when if you're like, I don't know, peeing in someone's yard, for example, and you get arrested and charged with a sex offense, that is very, very different to me than a rapist.
Right, exactly. Like, and so like, as a society, I think we need to take a look at like the dichotomy of crimes, and if we're really going to require people to, divulge their past on a job application, are we going to make them say, yeah, I did check fraud and it was a Class C felony, like, which is a crime of desperation usually. No one does check fraud if they have, a good working job and stuff, unless it's like embezzlement or whatever. But like, there's such a huge gulf between that and like a violent crime, because there are violent crimes that are, Class A misdemeanors that you don't have to divulge. If you're a violent person, you don't always have to put it on your job application, but if you did a felony, you do in most places.
Yeah, and Seattle is one of those places where they banned the box, so you don't have to check a box anymore.
That's cool. Yeah, yeah.
I committed a felony, but the problem is that's just on the initial phase of a job application.
Right, because
once you become a serious candidate, they can check your background.
Exactly. Like, and most places do a thorough job check now. Background checking, like services are making more money than ever. It's a huge industry, and it's so the checking the box really doesn't make a whole lot of difference when you have public records like that, and when you can't get crimes, stricken from your record or admonished, which requires a lot of money and time. Most of, and a lot of these prisoners do not have a lot of money or time being, released recently. My
PhD advisor, Natasha, she had suggested at one point, what if, and she published an article featuring this idea, what if like every 7 years, if you have not committed another crime, what if your criminal record just expired? And we set up every criminal record that way, because people change, and every 7 years, I'm not the same person I was 7 years ago. And at that point, I'm not the same I was not the same person I was 7 years before that. We changed throughout our lives. And if somebody's not committed a crime in 7 years, what's the point in holding it over their head for the rest of their lives? Like it doesn't benefit anybody. So that's food for thought for you, listener. Think about that. It doesn't benefit anybody, and it will make someone's life better if they are a changed person. And I've met some of these changed people, and I'm proud to see them move forward with their lives and try to do something, like channel their energies into something more productive and something that can help society and people around them.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like, there's something to be said for a person who's like always been good and reasonable, but like, I think we got to give a lot of credit and empathy to people who have really messed up in life and really want to change and redeem themselves.
Yeah, I completely agree. And you do see it in prison, and you like not everybody's going to make it, but for people who try, I would at least like to see them give it a shot. All right, let's close the door on that news. Goodbye, news. Slam.
Yeah. Goodbye, news. One extra big thanks to our sponsor, Roger Williams University School of Justice Studies.
Thank you, Roger Williams University School of Justice Studies. I would like to move on to a little segment I call Beck's Recs, or Beckomendations.
Yeah, let's hear them. What do you got for the listeners? What do you recommend?
Well, first we need a theme. So I'm gonna give you some clips that you can use. Like, I recommend the Constitution of the United States. Objection, Your Honor. Recommendations.
Okay. I guess I can make something out of that.
It's good. I think that there's a lot to work with.
All right.
Beck's Rex. Beck's Rex. Beck's Rex. Or Beckomendations. I recommend the Constitution of the United States. I recommend peeing in someone's yard. Objection, Your Honor. Recommendations. I recommend The Karate Kid Part 3. I watched it this week.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in segments while I was feeding a baby. And it's not a good movie by any stretch. In fact, it's a bad movie. Daniel comes back to Los Angeles after spending some time in Okinawa with Mr. Miyagi. And while back in Los Angeles, he is he's bullied by two grown men. One of them being like a billionaire who is all about dumping toxic waste in places you shouldn't, like Borneo. Okay. So these two grown men like bully this like 18-year-old kid, and they just want to take him down because he beat Cobra Kai in a tournament a couple of years ago. It's amazing. All right. And Daniel and Mr. Miyagi opened a bonsai tree shop. The whole thing sucks. But I enjoyed it. It's very much sequel for the sake of being a sequel.
You know, it's interesting to me that Mr. Miyagi never like faced any like groomer allegations. Like, he's not the kid's dad. He's not his adopted father. He's just like some guy who this like really young kid is hanging out with all the time. And they're hanging out alone.
Is the Doc Brown of karate.
You're not wrong. Yeah, Doc Brown never faced any allegations either. Like, like in any other world, I think it'd be weird if like a high school kid is like, hey, mom, I'm going to go hang out with this old man who's like my only friend for like all night. I'll be home later. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, I can't imagine becoming an old man and wanting to take a high school kid under my wing and and randomly pick them to hang out with.
Right. Yeah, Ma, he's just some old, unmarried, single guy who has taken a special interest in me. I'll be back home later. Like,
I want to meet this guy.
Yeah.
But his karate is second to none, baby.
Sure.
Let's move on to our another segment.
Brit's Picks.
Hell yeah.
All right. So
what do you pick?
Here's some of my picks for the week. First off, I'm going to start with a band that I've been listening to a bunch lately. They're not very, very heavily listened to on the internet, surprisingly, but they're called Melt Motif. They got a new album out called Feeding the Error, and it's really cool, kind of cinematic, gothy, I don't know, trip hop, I guess, like with some industrial elements. Like if you like a Portishead or The Knife or Nine Inch Nails, I think you might dig this music. So I definitely recommend that album. My second recommendation for the week is pork loin. Now,
the meat?
Yeah, as you might have noticed, meat is getting a lot more expensive, you know? Meat, beef especially, has gone way up. Chicken's going up. Pork seems to be holding pretty fast, you know? Pork's still a pretty reasonable meat to buy. And lately I've been buying a lot of pork loin and cooking it. It's a great meat, you know? You cook it nice and medium well. and let it rest for a little bit. And it's real juicy, delicious, really like the other white meat, and a fantastic meat. Highly recommended.
I would also like to, while we were talking bands, I'd also like to recommend the new single by Brit and Ryan Strah, Get in Line, released on SoundCloud. I listened to it earlier this week. It's a jam.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Cool. Yeah, that's a track off my new album, which I actually just completed recording.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I got to mix it and stuff, but I'm probably going to be releasing a new album before the year's done, so I'll have released 2 albums under this project during that time, which will be pretty cool.
That's pretty tight.
Yeah.
And hey, you dear listener, I hope you know, if you like the songs for this here podcast, that's all done by producer Brit.
Hi, I do all the songs. I do the music.
You and I are gesturing at each other when nobody's here.
Yeah. I'm just like Steven Weber. I'm a regular song and dance man. Steven Weber from Cheers and Stephen King's The Shining.
I believe you mean Wings.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, Wings. Sorry, it's Cheers in an airport. Oh, my bad.
Yeah,
it really is.
I believe they took place in the same universe, right?
They did. They did.
Kelsey Grammer.
Yeah, they had a
two?
crossover at some point. Yeah.
I love crossover episodes. They really something about it.
Mm-hmm. And my final Brit's pick is going to be a new movie that just came out on Netflix, I believe, called Train Dreams. This one stars Joel Edgerton as a logger and train worker in the early 1900s. And it just follows his life like up until like, his later life in the 1960s. And I don't know, this film really connected with me. The best way I can describe it is the most beautifully sad film I've ever seen. It's incredibly well shot. It's incredibly well acted. The script is airtight and just full of like some of the most heartbreaking lines you'll ever hear in any movie ever. It was just a phenomenal movie, and I really hope from all of the movies I've watched this year, like I think Joel Edgerton definitely deserves the Best Actor Best Actor Oscar, because he was phenomenal.
Let me ask, have you seen The Karate Kid Part 3? Is it that level? Have you seen Mr. Miyagi in there? I mean, he's good.
Is he?
Let's end this podcast.
Let's do it. All right. Well, if you like this podcast, please like, rate, and subscribe wherever you get podcasts. And don't feel shy to leave a review of our podcast telling us how much you like us.
Yeah, rate, subscribe, do all those.
Yeah. And I think with that, it's time for a little lights out.
Peace.